My name is Emily. I've been working in an office at a small company ever since I graduated from college. Being rather plain-looking, I have never been popular with guys, which means few romantic opportunities. Before I knew it, I was in my 30s without a boyfriend, feeling lonely about the prospect of never getting married. I took a leap of faith and signed up for a dating app. That's how I met and married my husband, Alex. Alex is 2 years younger than me at 28, handsome and tall. He works in sales at a well-known company. He is honestly way out of my league. Alex is a kind-hearted man. He said the bride should be the star of the wedding and let me have our ceremony in my hometown. My hometown is in the countryside, so most of Alex's friends couldn't make it. The only people Alex invited to the wedding were a few close ones. But Alex said, if Emily's happy, then that's good enough for me, and allow me to invite a lot of my friends to the celebration. Little did I know then who Alex really was, but I felt blessed being surrounded by many friends at our wedding. That's when the shocking event happened. Oh, by the way, I quit my job. That day when I came home from work, Alex was playing video games. I thought maybe he got off work early and casually started preparing dinner. I nearly sliced my finger off when he dropped the bombshell. You quit without discussing it with me. There's nothing to discuss. For adults, I can make my own career decisions. Sure, Alex says it as if it's no big deal. But aren't you supposed to consult your spouse before making such a significant life change? I was shocked by the sudden news, but I felt we had to have a serious talk. Alex, not taking his eyes off his video game, answered my questions. Why did you quit your job? Did something bad happen? My boss was incompetent. I think there's a better place for me out there. A better place. Like, for example. I'll figure that out, man. You're so annoying. Marrying an older woman is like being with mom. This wasn't the first time Alex had mentioned my age. Each time I would counter, then why did you marry me? And he would casually reply, because a complicated woman like Emily needs a stable guy like me, which would spark an argument. So this time, I chose not to retort. The main issue at hand was our future lifestyle. It was clear that with Alex quitting his job, we couldn't maintain our current way of life. But Alex, we're also sending money to your parents. Remember, their rent is high, and if you're not working, there's no way my income alone can support both households. This became a concern shortly after Alex and I got married. Both of Alex's parents, still in their 50s, had quit their jobs. Their reason was our back and shoulders hurt. We can't keep working this hard if we want to live a long life. However, that was their choice. It may sound cold, but I thought they should live their lives as they please, so I didn't say anything. The situation changed the month after they quit their jobs. They came to our apartment asking for financial assistance. Oh, we don't have much in savings. If your parents are struggling, it'll be a problem for you too, Alex. So we were convinced, and Alex decided that we would help with their rent and living expenses in a high-security 4-bedroom apartment close to the station. That's where the parents-in-law live. The rent is through the roof. After they left, cheerful about the financial help, I asked Alex, what about our own living expenses, Alex? Can Betty cover our costs? I'm going to give my salary to Mom and Dad. I wasn't happy. The thought of divorce crossed my mind. You should consider yourself lucky. A woman over 30, marrying a younger, handsome guy like me. You're already winning. That's what he always said. It made me feel worthless, so I couldn't muster the courage to leave him. If Alex quits his job, sending money to parents-in-law would be difficult. When I asked about this, he was too engrossed in his video game to pay any attention. Hey, what about the money for David and Catherine? Chopping carrots vigorously, I questioned him. Alex clicked his tongue. Obviously, Emily will come. We're a couple. We're supposed to support each other until I find a suitable job. Emily will hold the fort. He went back to his game. I don't make a lot of money. I was anxious about what the future held, but there was nothing I could do. Life slowly changed. We started draining our savings to help parents-in-law. Alex, although jobless, did nothing around the house. When I complained, he would say, I should have never married an older woman. You're all so naggy. You don't appreciate having a husband like me. As for parents-in-law, they started complaining about the insufficient amount we were sending. So, Emily, you're this age and not making much money. Have you been slacking off? Well, since Alex used to be the one supporting you, it's high time you step up. For some reason, they admonished me. I started doing some freelance illustrator work after my regular job just to bring in more money. Alex, meanwhile, showed zero interest in looking for a job he considers suitable for himself. My love for Alex, who spends his days playing video games at home or asking me for money to go to the casino, is running thin. When should we get a divorce? Thinking about when to divorce yet, what if the rest of my life is just me all alone, keeps me from taking the plunge. Then one day after work, I was greeted by a stranger while I was in the supermarket. Who are you? You don't remember me, do you? We met at the wedding. I was friends with Alex. I'm John. Taking a closer look at John's cheerful face, I couldn't help but exclaim, oh, John was one of the few friends Alex had invited to our wedding. Apparently just off work like me, John in his suit was filling his shopping cart with plenty of groceries. I'm sorry I didn't recognize you. My husband has spoken highly of you. Well, the thing is, I've actually cut ties with Alex. I saw you and wondered if you're doing okay, so I thought I'd say hi. What I was surprised to hear John speak of his friendship with Alex in the past tense. I never thought he had actually severed ties. John then proceeded to explain to my astonished self the reason Alex held our wedding in my hometown wasn't out of kindness. The truth was, Alex had very few friends. Apparently, Alex spent most of his student life on slot machines and had a habit of borrowing money without paying it back. John was one of Alex's college friends, and he was no exception. He had lent Alex money but never got repaid. The reason he continued the friendship was that they worked at the same company, and John didn't want to rock the boat. Once Alex quit his job, he immediately reached out to John for more money. That was the last straw for John. He cut off all contact. Do you know why Alex was forced to quit his job? Forced to quit? I heard he left because he didn't get along with his boss. That's not it. Alex was fired because they found out he was going to casinos when he was supposed to be on sales calls. I was shocked. This man, Alex, had been lying to me since the beginning of our marriage. I felt as if the spell that made me believe women over 30 are worthless had finally broken. The feeling of I can't forgive him washed over me like a wave. I thanked John in a trembling voice for telling me the truth and said goodbye. A few days later, I spoke up to Alex. Alex, I quit my job. Alex, finally pausing his video game, looked utterly shocked. I put my mobile phone on the table, its screen displaying my banking app. I have pretty much run out of savings since I have been sending money to David and Catherine. We have been bleeding cash. You have also been taking money from me for casinos and games. We're out of money. Alex let out a voice of despair. What the heck is this? Given that our savings had dwindled down to almost nothing, his despair was understandable. What are we going to do now? How are we supposed to live if you quit your job when we're already low on money? That's not my problem. Speaking of which, I have loans I need to pay back. Could you maybe find a job quickly, Alex? I want to take some time off and relax at home. Isn't it normal for spouses to support each other? It's hard for me to work now that I'm over 30. So now it's Alex's turn to support me. Alex, in this belief, immediately called parents-in-law on the phone. As soon as I told parents-in-law about our situation, they showed up at our house. Parents-in-law began to berate us for not having money, searching the house, suspecting we must have hidden it somewhere. But there was no money to be found. Was this large withdrawal? Parents-in-law questioned, to which I answered accurately. That money was used to pay back a loan Alex had taken from a friend. My own savings weren't enough, so I had to take out a loan from elsewhere to repay Alex's friend. Who did you pay back? And why would you even bother paying back a loan now of all times? I only paid it back because I heard from John that Alex had a lot of trouble. I think it was the right thing to do. The first to start yelling, "Let's divorce," was Alex. As I calmly explained myself, even parents-in-law agreed with Alex's words. They forced me into parents-in-law's lost cars and took me to the courthouse where I had to file for divorce on the spot. Glad I won't have to see your broke old face anymore. Alex left after saying that, and I immediately headed to a cafe. John was already waiting there. John, sorry for the trouble. I was able to file for divorce successfully. Oh, good. I was worried, so it's a relief actually. Alex was the one who told me he wanted a divorce, but this was all a plan between John and me. Simply saying, I want a divorce, would have led to Alex and parents-in-law making a fuss, as they wouldn't want to let go of me, their cash cow. I figured the quickest way to sever ties with Alex and parents-in-law was to prove I had no value as their cash cow. Fortunately, my side job as an illustrator had started to pay off, and I had saved quite a bit. I had this money deposited into a bank account that I kept hidden from Alex and parents-in-law. It's true that I repaid the money Alex had borrowed from John, but I had actually given John more money than that amount. It was all part of the plan to lower my bank balance, and John was more than happy to go along with it. After successfully filing for divorce, John met me at the cafe to return the extra money. However, the envelope he handed me contained all the money I had given him. "John, this is too much. The money Alex borrowed belongs to you, doesn't it?" "No, I only lent money to Alex, not to you. When I gave Alex the money, I had no intention of getting it back. I cut ties with him because I didn't like his attitude. So this is all your money. Having a bit more cash can't hurt when you're rebuilding your life." I could only feel gratitude towards John, who said this with a smile. He had opened my eyes to Alex's true nature. John had been part of my plan to divorce. I tried to give him some money as a token of my gratitude, but he only accepted enough to cover his coffee at the cafe. After meeting John, I stopped by my former workplace. I had left my hidden bank account card with the CEO for safekeeping. Though my boss understood my situation and regretted my departure, I had no choice but to quit since Alex knew where I worked and could potentially cause trouble later. "It's been tough, but I wish you all the happiness in the world." As he said this, my co-workers gifted me a beautiful dress and shoes. Thrown out of my home in just a t-shirt, jeans, and sandals, they had gone shopping for me at a nearby store. It's a gift. I hope you find happiness moving forward. Leaving my wonderful colleagues was hard, but I felt blessed to have worked in such a supportive environment. I decided to go back to my parents' house afterwards. When I was dragged to court from the home I had shared with Alex, I had packed my work supplies and valuables in a bag, so I could immediately start working as a freelance illustrator. Thankfully, my freelance work as an illustrator kept me financially stable. Alex and his family, on the other hand, weren't so lucky. They couldn't pay the rent for the house they lived in and were evicted. They moved into the house Alex and I used to share, but they lost that one too when they couldn't pay the rent. Alex desperately started looking for a new job, but his gap in employment and homelessness made it difficult for him to find one. Currently, it seems they're living in a makeshift shack by a river near their old house. I know this because Alex reached out to me once. When I answered the call from a public phone, Alex was crying and told me how sorry he was. "I have realized I can't live without you, Emily. Can we please start over? You regretted marrying an older woman, didn't you? I'm done being your cash cow. Goodbye." After that call, I never answered another from a public phone. The parents' house is quite a distance away from where Alex is located in the countryside. Alex, who doesn't have much money, probably can't afford to make the trip all the way here. The lesson I've learned from my failed marriage is that there's no rush to get married, whether you're 30 or 40. Living the way you want to is what truly matters. For making me realize that, I guess I owe Alex a tiny bit of thanks. I spent my days in my parents' house, slowly rebuilding my life. The countryside offered a peaceful retreat, and I immersed myself in my freelance work. It was a stark contrast to the chaos and uncertainty that had defined my life with Alex. As the days passed, I started to regain a sense of independence and self-worth. One day, while working on an illustration project, I received an unexpected message. It was from John. He had heard about my divorce and wanted to check in on how I was doing. We decided to meet up for coffee, and as we talked, I realized how grateful I was for his role in freeing me from a toxic relationship. John became a supportive friend, offering encouragement and helping me navigate the challenges of rebuilding my life. He shared stories of his own experiences and provided valuable insights. With his encouragement, I began to explore new opportunities and consider possibilities I had never thought of before. As I embraced my newfound independence, I focused on personal growth and development. I invested time in hobbies, took up new challenges, and surrounded myself with positive influences. The support from my family and friends, along with John's friendship, created a strong foundation for my journey of healing. Months passed, and I found myself in a much better place emotionally and mentally. The scars from my past were healing, and I was ready to embrace whatever the future held. The experience taught me the importance of self-love and the significance of choosing a partner who values and respects you. One day, while enjoying a quiet evening at a local cafe, I received a call from an unknown number. Hesitant, I answered, only to hear a familiar voice on the other end. It was Alex. He sounded desperate, regretful, and broken. He apologized for everything and expressed a desire to start anew. Listening to his words, I realized how far I had come since the tumultuous days of our marriage. I had grown stronger, more resilient, and determined to create a life that reflected my true self. Politely but firmly, I declined Alex's plea for reconciliation. I wished him well and hung up, feeling a sense of closure. In the following years, I continued to thrive personally and professionally. I found joy in pursuing my passions, fostering meaningful connections, and appreciating the simple pleasures of life. The painful chapter of my life with Alex had become a distant memory, a necessary detour that led me to a place of self-discovery and empowerment. As I reflect on the journey, I can't help but be grateful for lessons learned. The resilience I discovered within myself, the importance of surrounding oneself with positive influences, and the realization that true happiness comes from living authentically, these were the gifts of my tumultuous past. Life moved on, and I embraced each new day with gratitude and optimism. The pain of the past had transformed into a source of strength, propelling me toward a future filled with possibilities. And as the sun set on another day, I looked forward to the dawn of a brighter, more fulfilling tomorrow.